All right, in case you're just joining us, it's time for our discussions. Joining me for discussions this Tuesday morning, my pleasure to welcome Mr. Erekosima Onengia. I hope I got it right. It's an Niger name, isn't it?
It is, yes.
What does it mean? I know every
Onengia means nothing is bigger than God. Erekosima means don't nickname him. Don't give him a name that is not his own.
We won't. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Erekosima is the president Niger Delta Non-Violent Movement. We are very happy about that.
Thank you.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
We will be exploring the non-violent means of solving the Niger Delta crisis.
We pray so.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
But let's start with the Niger Delta. Yours is Niger Delta Non-Violent Movement.
Yeah.
Before now, all we've been hearing have been about men, the movement for the emancipation of Niger Delta people, the Niger Delta Vigilante Force, the Tom Ateke group, and all those.
Yeah.
Well, those ones that are on the other side.
Yeah.
How come yours is not all that?
When you say mine or theirs, it's like a divided house. We don't have a divided house anymore.
But there's no meeting point between violence and non-violence methods.
I am saying that because I have been with them.
Oh.
I was a spokesman for the Niger Delta Salvation Front, which is the political wing of the volunteer force. So I was in front. So I cannot be disassociated with them. I was with them. And from the start, I have been there. But what we're saying now is, I have come up on air and say, the Niger Delta was caused with a cause. I did not know what happened when I said that. I said it was caused with a cost. And I keep asking God, why are we suffering in the midst of plenty? And God said to me, my people has forgotten me. And I go back to the Bible, it says, if my people that are called by my name forgets me, he said, the cacaworms will come and eat them up. That's what's happening in Niger Delta. We were all blind. We were all misdirected. Guns were given to our young men that could stand and resist evil to now do evil. Because some particular people wanted power. Some particular people wanted to cheat. Some people want to be popular where they have not sown. So they misled us. Then I said to God, why is this thing happening? Our elders and so many people were in this thing. And I was like saying, the Bible says, let the elders go and dream dreams and let the young men prophesy. Is it that the elders should just go and sleep? No, God now told me, he is saying the elders have to get a foundation where the youths can build on. But unfortunately for the Niger Delta people, our elders too has been misdirected by greed. So the problem we had in the Niger Delta, I say hard because to me it's past. The problem in the Niger Delta, I see the promised land.
Okay, we know the problems of the Niger Delta.
Yes.
All we are interested in is not to be flogging and overflogging the problem.
Exactly.
We are in search of the way forward, comprehensive peace.
Yes.
In the light of the roadmap that government itself is developing in an atmosphere of peace. And so there's need for the boys to come out of the creeks and embrace this peace option and the development option.
Let me start.
How do we get them out?
Let me start like this. When you talk about peace in the Niger Delta, I don't see sincerity in it. What we need in the Niger Delta is not peace.
What do we need?
Justice.
How?
Transparency. I want to explain. Our problem in the Niger Delta is not Nigeria, because we are all Nigerians. But that we are blind to some truth. That Nigeria is fighting war with itself. What are the Niger Delta fighting? That is where we should start from. What are we fighting? We're killing ourselves every day.
So tell us.
The Nigerian army is in the Niger Delta. They are killing people every day. So what are we fighting? We are fighting what the Bible calls wickedness in high places. There is a saying that an eye for an eye, the whole world will go blind. If you kill these boys in the Niger Delta, what about those that sent them? So we are saying we are preaching forgiveness. We want to start at the real point. I have met over 70% of these so-called boys you call militants. The cult group, I have met every one of them. They are all telling me one thing. They have done so much for some persons, for some people, and they feel their lives are threatened. Their problem is not the gun. Their problem is the people they have hurt. How do they get back to ask for forgiveness? Their problem is how do they turn back the hands of the claw to do right from what they have been taught.
No, that was
and I told them,
for peace.
I am coming. No, I don't want to put the word peace.
Okay, reconciliation.
Not even reconciliation. The reconciliation that should be done in the Niger Delta is that the government should be sincere. From the day the government will pronounce forgiveness for these so-called militants and these people in the Niger Delta, 1 year will be too long for us to turn Niger Delta around and the whole world will find a peaceful place. I am saying this because this is what they have told me to say. That they are ready to come out and defend their father's land. They are ready to lay down the arms. We will fix a date when they will come out and say, this is our arms, we're laying it out. But we are afraid that the government will not be sincere because they will do to them what they did to Alhaji Asare. After he gave out his arms, they turned back and arrested him. So we are coming up to say, we want to stand on this, that non-violent movement, we will defend it, we will stand by it, we will call the world to witness within us and the Nigerian state who is militant.
What I understand you to be saying is that you want assurances from the government. Genuine
assurances to forgive these people, and 1 year will be too long to turn River State around. We know these people, they are not spirits, they are not ghosts. They have agreed to make peace. We are now saying these boys will monitor themselves. So who are you to say you will not make peace in the Niger Delta when the people have agreed to say we will make peace?
Okay, we are, Honorable Nwachukwu, we are making progress. Yes, if we believe in what he's saying is that what the boys want is assurances from the highest level. Yes. That nothing will happen to them. The past will be bygone, and then we'll open a new chapter, the way forward. Yeah, is that too much a sacrifice for the Nigerian state or the government of the Niger Delta to make? Yeah, I'm aware that the River State government, for example, has set up a Truth and Reconciliation Committee headed by former Supreme Court Justice Kayode Esho.
Yes. Thank you very much. You see, what my friend here just said is very important. Actually, you see, there are two sides to a coin. And you know that in the Bible, God said that Israel is like a tree planted by the riverside, and that they will bear forth fruit in all seasons. It means that come rain, come shine, come dry, come wet, any tree by the riverside will always blossom. And that's exactly what the Niger Delta is to Nigeria. It is the region that produces today what we call the live line of Nigeria, because that is where the oil that oils the wheel of Nigerian wheel of progress comes from. And as such, any aspect of politicking with the Niger Delta would mean postponing the doomsday. Now, like what he mentioned here, the youths or these militants are ready to down their arms. I think it is high time that the government should look at that in a very perspective, in a way, so that the two factions, the government and the antagonists and the protagonists will come in terms with each other and begin to profile solutions.
Yes, how about flowing from what you said about encouraging those who are doing well to do more? But can we count on the National Assembly, for example, to prevail on the executive to proclaim a general amnesty for everybody in the Niger Delta as a means of getting the boys to come out of the creeks, lay down their arms, and let everybody join in the efforts to build the Niger Delta? Can we count on the National Assembly to be able to do that?
No, I believe the imperative for declaring a general amnesty so far as the militants in the Niger Delta are concerned is one that we need to really take a serious look at. I think, quite frankly, that you are only going to be able to achieve that much with peace, when we establish clearly and show that we're sincere and honest, and we're actually committed, to the cause of peace. And therefore, granting an amnesty to me is an ingredient, is an element, that I think constitutes what can now add up to the total package, of what we're looking to get, which is peace in the Niger Delta. There's one thing, though, that my colleague mentioned, about the insincerity of government in the past, and he gave the example of Asari Dokubo as a basis for the fear that government may not live up to its billing and up to its promises. And I think that as fair as it is, for us to look backwards, I think it is proper to situate that there's a new era and that we have a new government in place, that in my view appears to be more of a government that listens, than, one that decides to impose its will on the people. Therefore, I think it is possible that we can trust that this particular administration is able to do that which it promises to do. Outside of the fact that we also have, fortunately, at this present time, the vice president, who I think is the son of the soil, yes, and one that is trusted, to be able to leverage in a way, that all of us can recognize, the importance, of proceeding along, this peaceful means that we've chosen. Therefore, I can also join my colleague here that for those of us at the National Assembly, we recognize this as a very, very important step that we need to take. And I think maybe himself and I, can make a commitment here that we should be able to, sponsor a motion in that direction, because it's something that I think we really need.
It's an option we need to try out.
Absolutely.
Let's see how, let the government try it out. Proclaim a general amnesty for everybody in the Niger Delta. Yes. Let's try it out. Let's see how it works out.
And say no victor, no vanquish. Because right now we've all come short of the glory of God. We've seen. And let us come back to reality.
After all, the weapons do belong to the Nigerian army, we are told.
Yes,
how did they get into the wrong hands?
I want to also add that my committee, the Petroleum Resources Committee of the House of Reps, which I happen to be the chairman subcommittee on trade, community relations, and Nigerian content, we're planning a very high-powered summit on the 12th and 13th of March. And this summit pertains to invite all the stakeholders in the petroleum industry, in the oil industry of Nigeria, and the host communities, where several agitations are coming from over what is ought to be and what is not ought to be. And I hope that in line with achieving that lasting peace, this will also be another form of brokering this issue of difference between the communities, because you see the actual problem that we're facing is that the host communities are not getting or benefiting from the services or from the presence of the oil companies in their communities, and as such they get upset, because now you have oil at your back door. Somebody comes there, tap it, you take it, and nothing is given to them. So these people get aggressive, and as such make a series of vandalization to the oil wells and all that. And as such, I am saying that this summit that we are planning to do would cushion in a lot of peace in the process that will give us the legal framework on how to legislate on laws that could guide host communities and the operators in the oil sector. It's coming up on the 12th and 13th of March, and that will give us a lot of interest, because we want them to come and talk. They come and tell us how they are feeling and what they think they want from these companies in terms of if this happens and if that does not happen. So we'll all agree and come up with a term paper that will give us a way to have a legal framework on
there are so many development issues that have been put on so many different templates.
Yes.
And I don't think the people in the Niger Delta actually have any fear to entertain about the sincerity of government. You have people at the highest level of government who are also from that area and feel the same heat that you feel, and so they're in a position to actually let the government know the way forward. The vice president, there are so many prominent sons and daughters of the Niger Delta that are in the corridors of power now. Not just in the corridors of power, right there at the table where decisions are taken.
Yes, let me come like this. I want to thank my brother for talking about these oil companies and amending some of this thing. Yeah. I want to give you the answer. The answer is the oil companies should stop paying this thing to government. They should think about the people
but they also enter into memorandums of understanding with the host community.
Yes, they should do that. No, they don't do that.
They do.
What they do with the host community is a divide and rule. Let's not go into that. It's a big one. But
I'm going to invite you to come.
Please, no problem.
We need people to come and
talk.
Yes,
but please, I want us to be focused. You talked about our people up there, and I think that's our problem. From the beginning, you talk about good luck sharing the peace committee thing. I have condemned it.
Why?
It is wrong. Let me tell you why it's wrong. Goodluck is not the vice president of Niger Delta. No. He is the vice president of Nigeria. And Nigerian problem, I am telling you that the Niger Delta, most of the problems we have there are engineered by some elders and some youth and some persons. These same people that will they have legs to get to Abuja because they can go and talk about negotiation, that they can settle these things. You now bring the person that is to negotiate this thing with them that they want to meet in Abuja to come and be the person to chairman it. Then the problem will not end because there will be enough problem for him not to handle. Please, let us be merciful to our generation that is going off. Our leaders up there should begin to ask for wisdom from God. The Bible says, for lack of knowledge, my people perish. If Goodluck is the chairman of that kind of organization, that they are looking for a way to come to Abuja to meet him, that I have solution to this crisis so that they can get money. He now comes to them. Will the crisis then end?
Probably because he knows the problems in and out.
See, my brother, the more you know the problem in the Niger Delta, the more you don't know. One man cannot solve it. What can solve the Niger Delta problem is the people of the Niger Delta. And that is what we are doing. Where we will shake ourselves. If the government comes up and says, okay, we are forgiving you from today, I say 1 year will be too much. What I'm trying to say is this. So
you are throwing your weight behind the suggestion I put to the members of the National Assembly?
Yes.
For a general amnesty.
If they do that, I am giving you the word of the boys. The word of this generation that is already gone. Our generation is gone. The dream of our fathers are not in a solid soil. It's on a sinking sand. Our fathers should dream about a soil that is solid so that we can build on them. I am not condemning our fathers. The Bible says they should dream dreams so that we can build on it. They should stop going for negotiation to settle the Niger Delta crisis because they don't know about the Niger Delta crisis. They know about Niger Delta. They should go for the benefit of the Niger Delta. Let us build the people of the Niger Delta. That is the most important thing. Give these youths sense of belonging, right to vote, right to say no to evil. Let them come out and know what it means to hate evil. We will get somewhere.
Okay. All right. We assume that the peace option is the only way forward.
The way forward is a forgiveness. Listen, we don't have any problem.
Yeah, you said, we agree. Forgiveness.
We're not fighting ourselves.
We know.
We fight for nothing. We fight for nothing. What we need right now, we have known that we are just killing ourselves because we forgot that we are brothers. So we are dying as fools. Now we have known that we are brothers. We want to be wise.
Okay.
In our wiseness, we are saying, let there not be evil in our midst. We want to remove it.
No victor, no vanquish.
Yes, war does not count who wins. War only says who remains. Okay. And we are dying. Who else will reap these things when our young men are dying every day?
Yeah, Honorable Jimmy, you have something to add? Otherwise, I'd like to ask him about his own suggestion on the development plan, because we're already taking it for granted that peace will come. Second. That peace will come.
We are not in a hurry for the development of Niger Delta. God says, I will restore when my people that are called by my name repent. Okay. You cannot restore Niger Delta with development until we repent and go back to God, which we want to do with the people of Niger Delta, to turn back to God first. When we repent, we will ask for the right things. It is too early to ask for development in the Niger Delta, because I am telling you, the truth is this. Let's be sincere to our conscience and to our generation for what God has brought us in this life for. We don't need development in the Niger Delta because we have it. You don't go for the source when you have the source. We are saying, develop the people. These boys that has been addicted to armed struggle, tell them the right thing, that they can stand against any government that is oppressing them.
Okay.
Without violence.
I'm coming back.
We will go somewhere.
I'll come back to you. If we do ask the boys to come out after proclaiming an amnesty, and they do come out,
yes,
we are worried as to what will become of them if we can't find. You know, they said that the idle hand is the devil's
Now let me tell you, the SSS invited me and they asked me the same question. Why these boys, what will you give them to work and whatever? I said, the job the armies are doing in the Niger Delta now, how much are you paying them? Share 18 to 20, give these boys one. Share the money you're paying to the security in the Niger Delta, give them one and say, wash your land.
Okay.
All these leaders that you want to kill and tell them, now you are a leader, I take you're a leader. Wash your land. Don't use arms. The police will work with you. Equip the police. The police are suffering. And if you see some places where the police suffering in Niger Delta, you weep. Forget this thing we're saying. These people are suffering. You don't call these leaders. We know these leaders. You have these so boys. Equip them, not with arms. Let them wash. If there is any crime in this area of town, is you. Then let me see where the thief will come in from. That's what we're trying to put on the ground. We're talking about a genuine change. The people will now be challenged to say, this is in my hand to protect it.
And this is our collective commonwealth.
Exactly. That is the only way forward. Then we will come to do the evil. Except you become a spirit or you become a ghost, then you can penetrate to do the evil.
And the Kitima will not come from Ikitima.
Yes, so that's why I tell them, they are looking for a taker now to kill him. It will be dangerous to kill that kind of person that has leaders. He has followers that believes him. God understands why they have not been able to kill him for a strong man. If you go to the Niger Delta now, the army is making us less human. Please let me conclude this. We are all Nigerians. They should help us. Nigeria, what Nigeria is doing is reducing their men from being men. If another country want to fight us, now who would you send? In those days, we were told that they come to the Niger land to bring strong men to fight for Nigeria, like Adakaboro and so on. But now they are destroying us. We are saying, yes, the government, the Nigerian state and the army, when they came, they did something good for us. There is a little bit of some decency about crime. But we are saying they are not the best for us. The people can do this work better. We will involve the people, and this so-called security thing, cut it into 20, give us 1. Let us.
But the Nigerian state needs the reassurance that is. I
am giving the assurance that the people are saying this is what we will do. The people of this generation are saying it in the Niger Delta.
Let's hear what the members of the National
Assembly yes, actually, I understand the passion with which my colleague addresses this issue. Look, make no mistake about it. What we advocated when we spoke about the strategic position of the vice president in all of this was the fact that no disrespect intended. The vice president is of course the vice president of Nigeria, but of course is the vice president of a Niger Delta extraction. You mustn't forget that. So therefore, we think that because it's number 2 at this present time, that if we have a sincere system that is put in place, and then you have a leadership from both the Niger Delta and of course at the federal level, that is transparent and is honest and is committed to the cause of peace, progress and development in the Niger Delta, then we're likely to have started achieving some of our objectives. So it is no intention on our part, to suggest that, the vice president should only be restricted, to providing solutions, to issues that concern only the Niger Delta. I thought maybe we should make that clarification, and then going forward, I would suggest with the greatest respect that we need to have a delicate balance as far as how we think out processes for achieving peace in the Niger Delta is concerned. One of which, of course, is that we must also develop infrastructure as well as we may wish to develop the people at the same time. There must be a delicate balance, because just like you posed the question, if we bring out the militants, from the creeks, and in the end, there's really nothing on ground, for them to be able to busy themselves with, then you may have developed another situation that in the short run can create another problem of a different kind. So I think that going forward, it is important that we do this delicate balancing by ensuring that infrastructure, because it is very, very critical. It is of utmost importance, that if you're talking about economic development, then therefore infrastructure must be one of the components that you ought to be thinking about. And I think the Niger Delta is in their need of infrastructure development.
We are really indeed very grateful for the contributions of the 2 members of the National Assembly, particularly the assurance that you are giving on the issue of the general amnesty for the people of the Niger Delta.
Yes, but Benga, I just want to.
The means of getting them to.
Yes, Benga, I just want to chip in quickly. I know time is of essence. Also, I want to let you know that the South members from the House of Rep, South Caucus, they are traveling to Bayelsa State this weekend in company of the Speaker, and all is in line with trying to profile lasting peace solution in the Niger Delta. And also, there's a non-governmental body, a socio-cultural group known as the Boys Company. They are also going to a place like Ikeremo this weekend also sensitize the people on the need to let off the issue of hostage taking. Let there be peace. Let people know that the world is watching us. And we are beginning to say that the boys in the creeks should please, in the name of God, drop the arms, come out and negotiate. Let government put them where they should be. And I tell you, like he said, if the government can pronounce on them forgiveness, I am sure these boys will be a better security people to know them. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We can't continue. We just have to apply the
We get it, yeah.
But we are appreciative of all that you have said.
Thank you.
And the commitment, the candor and the honesty with which you have spoken. We appreciate it a lot.
Thank you.
Erekosima Onegia is the president, Niger Delta Non-Violent Movement. Thank you so much for your suggestions this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And of course, Sir Austin Nwachukwu is a member of the House of Representatives. He is the chairman subcommittee of petroleum upstream. Yeah, and a member of so many committees in the House. He's a member of the House of Reps from Imo State. We appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir. And of course, Honorable Emmanuel Jime is also a member of the House of Representatives. He represents Makurdi Guma Federal Constituency of Benue State, and is also a former speaker of that state House of Assembly. Thank you so much, Honorable Jime.
I'm grateful.
That's the program Focus Nigeria today, this Tuesday. When we come back tomorrow, we will be advancing the cause of democracy further in our country. My name is Benga Aruleba. Asking you to enjoy the rest of the day. Do stay out of trouble. Don't go anywhere now, because the Money Show is up next on Africa Independent Television.